Today we are going to study about arterial blood gas analysis, and at the end of this session you should be able to interpret the ABG data based on the values of pH, bicarbonate and partial pressure of carbon dioxide. In the previous videos on acid-base balance and imbalance, we have studied that Henderson-Hasselbalch equation shows the relationship between pH, bicarbonate and partial pressure of carbon dioxide, and it is very important in understanding various acid-base disorders, and it is also useful in interpreting the ABG data. So the first step of ABG interpretation is to find out whether it is acidosis or alkalosis, and it depends on the value of pH. The normal range is 7.35 to 7.45. If it is less than 7.35, it is acidosis. If it is more than 7.45, it is alkalosis. Now the second step is to identify whether it is metabolic disorder or respiratory disorder. For that, we require the value of bicarbonate to identify the metabolic disorders, and we require the value of partial pressure of carbon dioxide to identify the respiratory disorders. The normal range of bicarbonate is 22 to 26 milliequivalent per liter, and if it is less than 22, it is metabolic acidosis, and if it is more than 26, it is metabolic alkalosis. If the value of partial pressure of carbon dioxide is more than 45 millimeters of mercury, it is respiratory acidosis, and if it is less than 35 millimeters of mercury, it is respiratory alkalosis. The third step in ABG interpretation is to identify the compensation in acid-base disorders. So we know that in metabolic acidosis there is primary bicarbonate deficit, and this metabolic acidosis is compensated by respiratory mechanism by decreasing partial pressure of carbon dioxide. In metabolic alkalosis, there is primary bicarbonate excess, and as a compensation, there is increase in partial pressure of carbon dioxide. In respiratory acidosis, there is increase in partial pressure of carbon dioxide. It is compensated by kidney by increasing bicarbonate concentration. In respiratory alkalosis, there is primary decrease in partial pressure of carbon dioxide, and it is compensated by decrease in bicarbonate concentration. Let's interpret the first ABG data. So first step is to identify whether it is acidosis or alkalosis. Here pH is 7.32, which is less than normal, so it can be labeled as acidosis. The next step is to find out whether it is metabolic acidosis or respiratory acidosis. Here bicarbonate level is 16, which is less than 22 milliequivalent per liter, means it is decreased. Partial pressure of carbon dioxide is 44, means it is normal. So here there is primary bicarbonate deficit is present, so this condition will be metabolic acidosis. The third step in ABG interpretation is to identify the compensation, whether it is uncompensated, partially compensated or fully compensated. So here partial pressure of carbon dioxide is normal. There is no change in the level of partial pressure of carbon dioxide. So it is uncompensated metabolic acidosis, which can be normally written as just metabolic acidosis. Second ABG data shows pH 7.28, which is less than normal, means it is acidosis. Here bicarbonate level is normal and partial pressure of carbon dioxide is increased. It is more than 45 millimeters of mercury. So here we can see that there is primary excess of carbonic acid. So the condition is respiratory acidosis. This ABG data shows pH is 7.48, means it is more than 7.45. So it is alkalosis. Bicarbonate is 22, it is normal, and partial pressure of carbon dioxide is 30, means it is decreased. So this condition is respiratory alkalosis. The next ABG data shows pH 7.50, so it is increased, means it is also alkalosis. Bicarbonate is 35, means it is increased, and partial pressure of carbon dioxide is 45, it is normal. So this is metabolic alkalosis. ABG data 5 shows pH 7.33, means it is decreased, so it is acidosis. Bicarbonate level is 28, means it is increased. But in metabolic acidosis, there is decrease in bicarbonate. So this increase in bicarbonate may be a result of compensatory mechanism. So the disorder might be a respiratory one. So here partial pressure of carbon dioxide is 54. It is increased. So we can definitely label it as a respiratory acidosis. Now we have to identify whether it is a full compensation or partial compensation. For that we need to take a look at the value of pH. When the pH is not normal, the compensation is not full. So it is partially compensated respiratory acidosis. Next ABG data shows pH is 7.30. It is decreased, means again it is acidosis. Bicarbonate is decreased and partial pressure of carbon dioxide is also decreased. So in metabolic acidosis, we know that there is decrease in bicarbonate level. So we can label it as a metabolic acidosis. And the change in partial pressure of carbon dioxide is a result of respiratory compensation. So now whether it is a full compensation or partial compensation, at pH is not at normal, it is partially compensated metabolic acidosis. This ABG data shows pH 7.35, which is normal. Bicarbonate is 30, means it is increased. Partial pressure of carbon dioxide is 49, means it is increased. So if we apply the first step, we can't comment whether it is acidosis or alkalosis. But as both bicarbonate and PCO2 are increased, definitely we can say that it is a compensatory state. So this is and pH is normal, so it is a fully compensated state. But when history of patient or diagnosis of patient is not given, then we have to just rely on the value of pH. So here pH is 7.35, which is more on the acidic side. So we can label this condition as acidosis. Now this acidosis correlates well with the increase in partial pressure of carbon dioxide. That's why it is a fully compensated respiratory acidosis, and change in bicarbonate is a result of compensation here. The next data shows pH 7.44, which is normal. Bicarbonate is 35, which is increased. Partial pressure of carbon dioxide is 48, which is increased. Again, it is a compensatory state, and as the pH is normal, it is fully compensated state. And we will take the help of pH to label this condition, whether it is acidosis or alkalosis. So as the pH is 7.44, which is more towards the higher side, that is on the alkaline side. So we will label this condition as alkalosis, and bicarbonate level correlates with this alkalosis. So this is metabolic alkalosis, and as the pH is normal, it is fully compensated metabolic alkalosis. In this ABG data, pH is 7.22. It is decreased, so it is acidosis. Bicarbonate is 15, means it is decreased. The partial pressure of carbon dioxide is 60. It is increased. So it is both metabolic acidosis as well as respiratory acidosis. And such kind of mixed disorders usually occur in clinical situations. So let's summarize the topic. There are 3 steps of ABG interpretation based on the values of pH, bicarbonate and partial pressure of carbon dioxide. The first step is to identify the acid-base status, whether the condition is acidosis or alkalosis. Then second step is to identify the primary disorder, whether it is metabolic or respiratory disorder. Third is to identify the stage of compensation. If the disorder is in uncompensated state, pH is either decreased or increased. One parameter out of bicarbonate and partial pressure of carbon dioxide is normal and the other is deranged. In partially compensated state, pH is not normal and both parameters are also abnormal, they are deranged. In fully compensated state, pH is normal but both parameters are deranged. So I hope this video will help you in interpreting ABG data. Thank you for watching.